So I wanted to talk a little bit about this new show over on Netflix called Zero Day. It hit February 20th, starring Robert De Niro and a lot of other talented actors. It kind of is an interesting show. I didn't actually hear too much about it until it showed up on my Netflix feed. And I watched the preview and I was like, oh, this looks kind of interesting. So the concept is what happens if somebody figures out how to shut down all of our computer systems coast to coast all across the United States for just 1 minute and then threatens to do it again. Now, if you think about it for a second from the how connected are we perspective, is that actually would cause a massive number of issues throughout the country. Try checking out for gas, try the grocery store, try anything if networks coast to coast go down. ATM machines, credit card transactions, um, you name it. Dealing with medical problems. We're so dependent on being constantly connected. What happens in that 1 minute window when things go down? The answer is people die, even inside that minute because of the panic that ensues. Um, but what happens if it's a longer term than that? So kind of ask that question of what really happens if it's longer term. And what makes it worse is what if you don't know who did it, right? What is it, the Russians? It was some other enemy we don't care too much for or doesn't care too much for us. Was it internal? Was it external? Was it homegrown terrorism? What external terrorism? Who did it? Was it a government conspiracy to do it? And does anybody believe the news when they come out and say, we don't really know, right? That's no, you're just keeping it secret from us. It was them. It's always them. Uh, and the thing I found sort of genius about it was I went into it thinking, okay, this is going to be a political one-sided, whatever. And it was kind of interesting that the writing was so good that I think both political extremes will walk away going, yeah, they're talking about those guys. And they're going to just throw flames at each other back and forth. Whereas if you go into it objectively, I think you'll see that it actually is a good story. It's a reasonable telling of what could happen in this case. Um, and yeah, it gets into politics because that's where stories like this go. But it was kind of well written enough that I couldn't really, you had to really, they were kind of either poking fun at both political extremes or they just did it so well that I couldn't tell who they were poking fun at because I could have blamed either one. In this particular storyline case. And I thought for a while, I was like, oh, they're blaming the political right. Oh, they're blaming the political left. And now it turns out they're just sort of blaming everybody. Um, which was kind of interesting because I think we've gotten to a point as a country where we need to learn once again how to work together to solve problems and not give a rip crap about who gets to the credit for solving it. Just fix it and move on and make life better for everybody. It should be how it works. Great show over on Netflix. The entire season hit at once because it's Netflix. It's how they work. De Niro is brilliant in it. Agree with his politics, don't agree with his politics. The man can act. He was genius. It gets into some questions about advanced weaponry of specific types. It gets into some cyber attack stuff. It gets into some other technology bits, which you'll find some plot holes in because that's the way fiction works. But all in all, it was great storytelling. I really enjoyed it. So check it out. Netflix on Zero Day. No, I am not sponsored by Netflix or anybody else. So I hope you enjoy it. I certainly did. Everybody have a great day.